you go.
Hi there, this is a makeup video for the Enneagram Class 6, Type 6. So we're going to start again today with a fun video that gives us a caricature of the various numbers 1 through 9. And this one has to do with Valentine's Day.
Right, or it's not really a gift.
Oh, for goodness sake, don't go spending your money on me like that.
I know that I'm asking a lot, but I don't feel like it's too much.
It will be the end of winter, at the beginning of spring. Valentine's Day is not my favorite holiday.
So that I can read the menu and plan out what I'm gonna have.
Flowers or chocolate? Yes and yes.
The last thing I want is an original poem.
Oh, please. I'm sorry. Please don't ask me where I want to go to dinner.
I like to keep Valentine's Day simple. I don't want a lot of gifts. What I would really appreciate is maybe restocking our pantry, and going to Costco for me, getting some toilet paper, putting it on the toilet paper dispenser, maybe doing the dishes, putting them away in the right spots though, folding the laundry, condo fold, and putting it away. I mean, just help around the house would be great, but it has to be done right, or it's not really a gift. I do like some chocolates, but you just have to get me those one chocolates that I like. You know the ones. You know, right? Only those.
Oh, for goodness sake, don't go spending your money on me like that. Flowers are pricey. Oh, if you do, I guess half a dozen carnations would more than do it. You're sweet to ask. Well, Valentine's Day is fun. It is fun. What do I want? I would love the chance to make my husband his favorite frittata in bed. He's just so excited, the way his eyes light up when I come in with the tray. You know, I get some essential oils going for him because it helps with those morning headaches that he tends to get. And after that, I can think of no more romantic way to spend the day than watching his favorite basketball team compete for hours on end. Swoosh romance.
Okay, so for Valentine's Day, I'm hoping that my husband plans out my perfect day to my exact specifications, but it's a total surprise to me, so that my reaction is completely genuine. I know that I'm asking a lot, but I don't feel like it's too much. I would like the day to start with a beautiful bouquet of ranunculus. I love ranunculus because not everybody gets this. I don't want roses. No. Ranunculus is where it's at. Plus it's fun to say, ranuncula. Obviously I'll have breakfast served to me in bed with a mimosa first. And then I'll have my keto-friendly omelet with gluten-free toast and avocado.
I mean, I guess I would want to start the day just by spending some time enveloped in meditative silence, looking into one another's eyes, saying everything without saying anything. And then after we enjoy a cup of herbal tea, I'd like to go outside and recite poetry to one another as we gather wildflowers together. It will be the end of winter, at the beginning of spring, the perfect time for butterbur, maybe some primrose, greater stitchwort. And then we'll take those flowers and press them together in the pages of a book so that we kill them but on purpose, thus immortalizing them. Well, to be honest with you, Valentine's Day is not my favorite holiday for a number of reasons. It has roots, of course, as everybody knows, in the Roman festival of Lupercalia, which was held in mid-February. And of course, it included fertility rites and the pairing off of women with men by lottery. I mean, it was quite barbaric. And it wasn't until the 5th century, I believe, as everybody knows, that Pope Gelasius replaced it with what we now call St. Valentine's Day. But since, the contemporary Valentine's Day holiday is widely accepted as a way to celebrate love and affection, I guess what I would like is for breakfast, lunch, and dinner to be delivered to me via courier, and I would not like to leave the confines of my living room for the entire day. Netflix and chill Valentine's edition.
For Valentine's Day, really don't care where we go for dinner. I just want to know where we're going ahead of time so that I can read the menu and plan out what I'm going to have, and I can take a look at the Yelp reviews and make sure I know what to expect and that everything is going to be okay. For a box of chocolates, I don't want anything made at home or handmade in someone else's kitchen. I'd rather have like Russell Stover or Whitman's chocolates, like sealed shut with a menu label that I can pick out which ones I want, because I don't like the caramel. It's too hard in my crowns. Strawberry filled, eat that one. Coconut, avoid that one. Nobody ever has to be subjected to a coconut filled chocolate again.
Flowers or chocolate? Yes and yes. And I'd like them both in the car while I'm blindfolded on the way to the airport. Do I want to know where we're going? I do not! Throw me in first class. Give me something bubbly, don't care what, and take me somewhere. Let's do this. Napa, Vegas, Hawaii, Morocco, Fiji, Antarctica. Don't care. Down the ride. All for a present? Oh, I'm not picky. I mean, I would love just about anything for a Valentine's Day present. I'd take a goldfish, a guinea pig, a litter of feral kittens, a new German shepherd. Always wanted to breed horses. A baby sheep would be totally rad. Would consider raising a camel under the right circumstances.
I don't really care about Valentine's Day, to be totally honest. And if we must, I suppose just brunch at my favorite place. Maybe a gift card for some coffee. Actually, what would be great for me for Valentine's Day is a hotel room by myself for 24 hours. I can just power through work and get caught up on emails, maybe organize some photos on my computer. That would just take a huge weight off of me, and that would be really, really nice. The last thing I want is an original poem or song. Not necessary. Chocolates would be great, but I'm going to spend 4 hours working them off. But I spend 4 hours in the gym anyway, so that's fine. Just give me the chocolates.
Oh, flowers or chocolate? Gosh, either. Whatever you've got time for is totally fine with me. Don't go out of your way. If you're driving by a gas station on the way home and they've got Russell Stovers, just grab it. That's good with me. Oh, please. I'm sorry. Please don't ask me where I want to go to dinner. This was kind of a whole thing last year. My husband kept asking me where I wanted to go, and I kept saying, I just want to go where you want to go. And he said, no, I want to go where you want to go. And those are the most aggressive words I've ever heard. I legitimately want whatever it is you want to get me. That sounds perfect. Whatever you're thinking of, don't say it. Think it, hold it here. That's what I want. What you just thought. And it was a very upsetting time. And so personally, the holiday to me is just, that's such a poor thing to say, steeped in animosity. Oh my gosh.
Oh, there's a baby on my butt. It's a baby! It's a baby! What type are you, mister? I'm the love bug type. Auntie Michelle. I'm a love bug type. I'm a love bug type.
I'm gonna take my time.
Oh.
That's the.
Okay, I think it's your mother.
Okay. So, a little fun there once again with the video.
How to make the law of attraction work for you, and why it hasn't been working so far. The law of attraction has the power to bring positive events into our life.
Okay, get rid of that, and we go to our Enneagram app. So today we're going to be talking about the six personality. And as you see, once again, the 6 is in the head center, the 5, 6, and 7. So the 6 is totally in the head center because the 5 and the 7 on either side of it are also head types. So it doesn't have a foot in the heart or the gut center. Its wings are number 5 and number 7. So that means that the 6 will also know those two positions fairly well, those two types and the characteristics of those two types. They can embody those. They can be more of a 5 wing or more of a 7 wing, or it can be equal. And then we have, of course, as always, the point of stress, where the 6 can go to when they're not feeling well, when they're falling apart. And in times of disintegration, the 6 goes to the 3. And then in good times, in the upbeat times or the heart center times, the 6 can go to the 9 up here. So the holy idea for the 6 is strength or faith, to feel courageous, to feel strong. The virtue is courage. And the basic desire is to have support and guidance. Their basic fear is being without support. And so they live very fearfully, or can live very fearfully. And their fixation is cowardice, because they feel so overwhelmed by their fears that the temptation is for them to shut down, to be afraid, and to not do. And the passion that they fear and the emotion that they're dealing with the most is fear. It is said that these children, the 6s, when they were children, were raised in an unpredictable situation with no safe place to go. They lost faith they would ever be protected. And as such, they turned to their own inner guidance, to their own defense of doubting. They're always doubting. And so that practice of doubting is where they draw strength from, disbelieving reality and rejecting their own inner guidance or instincts. Now, having said that, their communication style is often very warm and friendly. They're often misdiagnosed as the 2 type. And they're really good at problem solving, because they're always probing, they're always double checking, going over. They have that quizzical mind that can be great in terms of problem solving. They're great in crisis, and they're highly supportive of the people that they're committed to. They can be suspicious of authority figures and hidden agendas, but do not necessarily want to assume leadership roles. They seek assurance that whoever is leading is the appropriate person for the role. So they need to really figure you out and to have trust in you before that they will go along with things. They often doubt their own mind and seek the advice and suggestion of others to affirm their ideas. What sounds like fearful language to others is actually the inner courage of the 6s at work, sensing potential risk and danger and formulating solutions ahead of time and backup plans. They love others by doubling down on worst case scenarios, mentally going to the scariest places they can imagine so that they can protect their family and friends. Experience the constant hum of anxiety and angst in their minds and tend towards irrational overthinking processes. They are extremely loyal, very friendly, great friends, often serve as a source of strength, security, and stability for others. So I'm going to use the app now, the Enneagram app, and we'll take a look at what that has to say. So as we said, the passion for the 6 is fear and doubt. The addiction to fear is propelled by the belief that it will keep the 6 from being alone without support. To feel safe and relaxed would be too dangerous. The core fear is of fear itself. and it's very debilitating for them. And the fixation is cowardice, physical feeling of fear leading to rigidity and paralysis, bracing the self against opposition or uncertainty. So they have an external and internal focus of attention. What is safe? What isn't? Hypervigilance, scanning for potential threat or danger. Their focus goes to finding hidden agendas and to worst case outcomes. Intrapsychically and intrapersonally searching for safety all the time. So they are in the reactive personality type. We talk about how the 4 is also reactive, the 8 is very reactive, and the 6 is reactive in that way of always scanning. They are also at the same time compliant. And we see that the 1s and the 2s and the 6s are the 3 sort of compliant personality types in the Enneagram. The 1s try to be perfect and be good, and it's very compliant. The 2s try to be of service and helpful, very compliant. And the 6 try to provide security for everybody. That's their way of being compliant. So, who cares if the glass is half empty or half full? It will break anyway. That would be, I guess, a motto or a mantra for the 6s. Now, there are 2 types of 6s. There's the phobic 6, and then there's the counterphobic 6. And this is something that we haven't seen yet in any of the other numbers, although some say that each of the numbers also has a counter type. So, to avoid danger, the counterphobic 6 deals with excessive fear by going up against it, by jumping into it, by fighting, while the phobic 6, which is more the norm, gives into the fear and has more of a freeze response. So the counterphobic 6 is often the daredevil who does these extreme sports and jumping off of this and jumping out of planes. And it's not that they don't have the fear, but the fear drives them to conquer the fear. It's like that's their way of asserting control over it. The world is a dangerous and scary place, so safety is the main focus. They use perception and intellect as a way to understand the world, scanning, assessing to determine if others are friendly or hostile. Do you like me or not? Are you going to attack me or not? They may procrastinate and be chronically ambivalent. We use the term analysis paralysis. They try to figure it out so much that they just grind themselves to a standstill and a halt. Now, characteristics of the 6s. The phobic 6s lay low when sensing danger. They comply. They act modest and meek. The counterphobic 6s deliberately provoke, preempt danger, and can be aggressive. Hypertense, alert, scanning for danger, tendency towards paranoia. So we talked again about how there's a correlation between mental health diagnoses and each of these characteristics, and paranoia would be the one for the 6. Wants to know the rules and the guidelines, and yet paradoxically the counterphobic then goes against the rules, and maybe the rebel, maybe the revolutionary. Thinking replaces doing, tendency to procrastinate and overanalyze. They doubt, they question everything. They're prone to pessimism, worst case thinking. They want to trust, though they are suspicious of motives and intentions of others. And so they have difficulty sticking to decisions because they're always second guessing themselves. They're anxious and they have nervous energy, and they're planning, they're figuring it all out ahead of time, and then they're doing a review afterwards, and it just seems to go on forever. They can oppose themselves and everything else to gain a sense of control. They have a fear of success because you're putting yourself out there and you may fail then, you're making yourself a target. They can forget their past successes and they can have a tendency to pessimism. They can lack inner guidance and look always to someone else to give an opinion that they can hold on to or feel secure in. They can have authority issues because, again, it means that they have to trust someone else, and that's not easy for them. So they can be drawn to either being submissive with authority or being revolutionary in their approach and attacking and undermining and distrustful or defiant. Now, 6s are often found in the military. They're also found in religious organizations because it gives them security. There's the authority figure. If I trust the authority figure, everything will be well and fine. They give me an order, I can just follow and everything is fine. They can take too much responsibility on for their families and for the people that they feel responsible for at work. And then, of course, that becomes a burden and they feel resentful for having all that responsibility. Now, the wings. So we talk about that the 6 has a 5 wing and a 7 wing. Now, a 6 with a 5 wing will be more of the investigating because the 5 already has that characteristic of wanting more knowledge and of hoarding knowledge. So they seek security by investing in strong beliefs and aligning with a group. They're more inclined to delve deeply into a hobby or a specific area of interest. Can be aggressive for a cause, strong focus on fairness and loyalty, and that goes generally for the 6s. It's very much about fairness and loyalty. They can be skeptical, reactive to sources of authority that seem unjust or unfair. They can be more introverted than the 6 with a 7 wing, more serious, very focused, very self-controlled. Now, on the other hand, if you are a 6 with a 7 wing, you will be the loyalist, but you will be the enthusiast also. So you attempt to quiet anxiety and self-doubt with close connection and humor. You're funny and likable, loyal and inclined to sacrifice for significant others. But again, procrastinating is part of the deal. Discounts their own value and may send mixed messages. They are, however, more extroverted and light-hearted than the 6 with a 5 wing, and yet also more easily distracted. Now, the lines, the heart line and the stress line, the point of integration, the point of disintegration. So we see here that the heart point is the number 9, the peacemaker. That's where the 6 goes when they're in a good place. They become more trusting and more flexible. They can see all sides, not just the negative or dangerous side. And they're able to be more supportive and less suspicious of others. Learn to relax and can stop waiting for the other shoe to drop, which is often where they spend their time. They can trust their gut instead of endlessly reviewing mental scenarios. So they're moving out of the head into the gut, which is where the 9 resides. The downside of being in the 9 is that they can tend to numb their symptoms of fear and they can avoid what is really troubling them or bothering them. Now, the stress point, when they're under stress, they go to the 3. Now, the 3 is a very out there, achieving kind of successful personality. They become driven then to produce and to achieve, to be successful. And that only increases their anxiety, possibly reaching a state of panic or terror. Emphasis goes to work, to success, to income, to performing a role. And that just again, of course, is very troubling for them. Frantic attempts to gather resources that ensure survival, may tell lies or deceive, tries to appear more competent or more efficient than they actually are. So they're picking up on that 3 energy that's not so authentic. The upside, however, is that they do become very productive, they become more energetic, which can override the anxiety and the paralysis that they normally deal with. So I'm going to stop the video right now at this point, and we'll do part 2.